Okay, so I think the word of my weekend is probably going to be hallelujah. That's going to be the word of the weekend. So, welcome. Exactly, welcome. This is the Chalk of Our podcast. My name is Neon Tinted Tom. I got my friends here, Mr. Robert Fish and Mr. Captain Zod.
Hello.
How are we doing today, guys?
Doing really good. Really
Yeah.
good. Really positive about the fandom. It's been a lot going on this weekend. So
Yeah, totally. Rob, how are you? Just overview.
Considering I'm nearing 40, I didn't sleep much last night, to be honest.
Well, it's a funny one, isn't it?
Just because of everything. Yeah, it's weird how excited I was getting. And I haven't been like that for a long time.
Well, this is the thing, because one of the things about our podcast, obviously, we're going a bit off script, a bit off our concept that we're currently working on, an unreleased material. But this will probably be the first one that goes up. But yeah, obviously, we're going to take things, we're a little bit more chill than usual. We're not the cool kids that hang around, by those cinemaplexes that have got their hipster jeans and all sorts on. We're a little bit older, we're in that 30 plus bracket, there or thereabouts. So we're going to keep it chill.
40.
Well, I was being
spread.
I didn't want to be ageist. This is a very, diverse little panel we got. So anyway, we're going to talk about DC Fandome. It happened over the weekend, which was August 22nd. It was a 24-hour event, as you guys know. First of all, did you guys actually manage to catch any of the stuff live?
I didn't catch any of the stuff live because it was a lot going on for me this weekend because I had other things happening.
Yeah.
But all I was doing basically was catching up on some other reaction videos and so on.
Yeah.
Like overviews, summaries, and things like that. I really sort of focused on. The main things I watched was the game stuff because, as you guys know, I'm a massive gamer.
Yep.
So for me, that was and I was really interested to see what they're going to do with Black Adam and things like that. So I watched little snippets and I watched a few of the recaps later on, but that's all I really watched.
Oh, wicked. How about you, Rob? Did you manage to catch anything live over the weekend?
For myself, the Batman panel was the only thing I managed to that evening. Then spent Sunday literally, my head in my phone basically. And I know we'll get to it. But watching like trailers, I don't know how many times. I'm not usually a trailer person.
I know, isn't it? It's crazy, absolutely crazy. So we're gonna try and go in the order the things sort of popped up, just to try and keep our allegiances to our properties aside. So let's just have a quick overview of what was happening. So obviously, 24 hours, it was an online event. DC, obviously, Jim Lee designed dome layout and all the different art layouts and things like that for it, which I thought was really, really cool. They had loads of different language options because obviously they understood the diversity amongst their fans, obviously across the globe at all. And yeah, it was interesting stuff. I didn't actually catch it live, I'll be honest, or a lot of it live. I was in a socially distanced home music festival, shall we say.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was great, man. It was an absolute great weekend. I gave my half-an-hour TED talk in the enchanted garden of the festival, where I gave my half an hour of explaining to 40-year-olds what the Snyder Cut was, and it was the most hilarious thing ever. But anyway, I had my 25 minutes. I watched the Snyder Cut panel live, which for me personally was the thing I was looking forward to the most over the weekend. I've been following this stuff for 3 years. It's one of the reasons why, I'm here. I'm a huge Snyder fan. So let's just get into it. Why not? Okay, so let's start off. Wonder Woman 84. We had a panel hosted by, obviously, Patty Jenkins, the director. Gal Gadot was there as well. Kristen Wiig, lots of the different cast. Obviously, Pedro Pascal, who shows up as the villain or the posed villain. Yeah, exactly.
I love that when he came up with that. I loved it. I did watch that later on, but yeah, loved it.
Yeah. So, did you guys see any of this panel at all? Did you see any of it? So you watched it?
I didn't see, no. I've only seen the obviously trailer.
Okay, so Chad, do you want to give like a quick overview, what you thought, what happened, little bits you thought was interesting?
I think in what they're doing with what's it, Kristen Wiig?
Kristen Wiig, yeah.
Kristen Wiig. Her being like one of the villains, and having her character development and having her come into it as well. I thought for me I was not sure if she was going to be a good pick for it.
Different, isn't it?
Yeah, it is completely different, and I just didn't think that would work. But I think she is going to be a bit of a gem in this film. I got a good feeling about it. Just seeing what she brought, what she was in the panel for, I went, actually, you know what? I just felt happier, and I'm getting more and more excited for this film. More and more excited for it.
Totally. So obviously you've hit the nail on the head. Obviously the big reveal from the Wonder Woman trailer, which we hadn't seen up until this point, was the reveal of Cheetah. Now with the, let's say, infamous release of Cats that came earlier on in the year, the design of CGI style felines is certainly up for debate. So I think one of the reasons why they've delayed for so long is because they've really been trying to perfect everything that with the look. So what do you think, Rob, with the look overall? Because obviously you've been reading comics a lot longer than I.
I know, I haven't, to be honest, I haven't got much to say about the trailer. It like most of them now are beautiful, you know, and they look stunning, and it was more a lot of visual effects, that sort of thing. I felt the obviously when we saw the cheetah in full thing, it was quite quick and fast
very
movement,
dark,
so
very shadowy.
So you couldn't take much from it. But like obviously Chad said, with casting Kristen Wiig, you know, she's typically a she's a funny woman, you know, and changing into that role is definitely a thing. It's obviously interesting what they're doing with Chris's character, which I'm Captain. What's his name now? It's gone.
With Chris Pine's character, Steve Trevor,
is whether how they're bringing him back, or giving him her wish.
Yeah, I think it's going to be again, spoiler territory. But if you know anything about obviously the Maxwell Lord character, they seem to be changing a little bit of his backstory and things like that. But it's ultimately giving everyone within 80s America the big rags to riches American dream. I give you one wish, or however many wishes, and ultimately you're going to have to pay the price for that. So it seems as if I personally believe that Steve Trevor coming back is something to do with that. But it will be very, very interesting. It seems to have a nice mix at the moment of drama and comedy. Are you guys finding that, similar to the first one, maybe?
Definitely well balanced. What I've seen so far, it's definitely got that balance. And touch on with Kristen Wiig was because you've seen her in The Martian as well, and she had that good balance. And I think she's bringing that balance to this as well. So the whole thing with the balance, it's all about balance with the comedy and the action and getting that right. And I think they nailed it. I really think that what they're doing at the moment, what I've seen so far, it's not going to be too out of scale.
No, it'd be nice to see how much they go back. Obviously they show a previous clip of sort of an arena.
Oh yeah, the young Wonder Woman in the Colosseum doing like their Olympics type of thing. That was quite
It'd be nice to go back to that, because I know going to obviously Maxwell Lord. I know him from the days of like OMAC Project and Checkmate and all that sort of stuff. So it'd be interesting to see how he is given these wishes.
Yeah, well, no, exactly, and obviously there's some interesting stuff being shown in these trailers as well, because obviously we've seen the debut that was in the last trailer though, but the Golden Eagle armor with Wonder Woman as well. Now I don't know a huge amount about the Golden Eagle armor and the lineage and where it originated, who came up with it, but certainly looks interesting. And also she can ride lightning. How metal is that? It's it's really interesting stuff. I'm trying not to let my love of the 80s get the better of me and sort of cloud my judgment with it. But one good thing, and you guys, which is difficult with me. Yeah, I know, exactly. But one thing I was going to say actually, and I think this is going to be a very a very important aspect or a very key part across this conversation, is that everything seems very comic booky, but everything still seems very unique and very different in the lens that it's been shown, in terms of obviously Wonder Woman 84, the little bits we saw, the Suicide Squad, Justice League Snyder Cut, the Batman, everything looks so tonally and visually diverse, which I think is actually quite cool. And it's wonderful to stimulate the DC lines that we have inside of us. So I thought that was quite cool.
Styles definitely very 80s, especially with the choice of the color palette as well. I think they're definitely not ramming it too much down, but it's just the right amount for me. It's right, and I love the 80s stuff, so I'm sold.
Totally.
It's going to be Easter eggs in there, isn't there? It's bound to be like a period film like that.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Obviously, you know, the clothes choices that they're putting Steve Trevor in, obviously, and his confusion at the fact that everyone's wearing parachute shorts now. Yeah, it seemed I was always quite critical of the comedic stuff. However, you know, there's a time and a place for it, and there seems to be a nice balance here at the moment, at least for me.
You wonder if she's going to come across a young Bruce Wayne, because his parents died in 81 in this universe, isn't it?
Is that what they? I can't even think in Batman v Superman.
Batman, Superman. Yeah, 81.
Well, obviously, there was a panel across the day, which I guess we can talk about now as a result of what you've said. They were obviously explaining this concept of the multiverse and stuff across the day, and I don't necessarily think that this is within the same universe technically or the timeline of Batman v Superman at this point. Okay. It's not been confirmed, but obviously they're playing around with the idea that each film can be in its own, obviously, like in its own multiverse as such. So, you know, you've got your Snyderverse timeline, which would be Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, Justice League, and if you want to say it, probably Suicide Squad, probably the Ayer cut if that does come to fruition, which does seem like it, and I'm all for it.
So in that case, then the Wonder Woman movie, is it still the same Wonder Woman that is in?
Well, I guess this is. I think
it has to be, because it's just the whole. This is where they're going to get a bit too fragmented, and this is where I have a problem with the multiverse, and that's all I'm going to say on it. I'm not going to do it.
Come on, tell us your beef, Chad. Give us your beef. What's going on? How do you feel about the multiverse? Because I've been asking a lot of the normies, as we were saying. I was asking them across the weekend, what do they think of the concept of the multiverse? And I gave them a very quick explanation, and it seems mixed. So I want to know what you're saying.
For me, it's just too fragmented. This is the thing, because Wonder Woman 84 has to be in. I mean, I'm a kind of person, I like to know beginning, middle, end. I like to know where I'm going with like some sort of time frame. Saying the multiverse is going to be based in his own multiverse, which it wouldn't work, because the whole picture with Trevor and that picture with what was it in Batman vs Superman? No, Batman vs Superman. Yeah, Batman vs Superman. Yeah. Having all that as well, it just makes the whole multiverse. It turns into a bit of a joke, and I really do think the TV shows rely on that multiverse. The movies don't need to be, and I think for the average fan who watches all this, who not really into comic, or not really big into comic books as what we are, it is going to kind of deter them from it. And hence the reason why you do get this, like, DC is not as good as Marvel. And then it reminds me of, like, what was it? The book, How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way. It's like, this is how you direct movies, comic movies, the Marvel way. And I always have a problem with that. And that's the problem I have at the moment. DC are thinking out of the box quite well, but for the average fan, I don't think it works for them. And for me, I just want it just to be a bit more straightforward, because I just want to go along to a movie, to a cinema, enjoy it, and then just keep the multiverse out of it and keep it for the TV shows. That's my opinion.
All on you, Rob. You can take it from here.
And I kept my language under control, because it does frustrate me.
I'm completely the opposite, I suppose. I've got no problem with the multiverse. I think when we were discussing with the Wonder Woman thing, then yeah, I think that sort of, I think the characters or the actors necessarily that portrayed them in the Snyder universe should stay in the Snyder universe. But there can be times where you can change that. I mean, the problem is, if you're a DC fan, you just got to get on with it when it's multiverse, when you're reading comics. Yeah, we can all agree on that. It gets confusing at times, yes. As long as you have some key factors. Obviously, the leading up to like the Flash movie release, they're going to have to make sure they do a good, clear understanding of what's going on for people who don't read comics. And then after that, people I think can then enjoy individual films more. So this Batman coming out, they can enjoy it for what it is.
And that's why I hope they do, and then use Flashpoint as a way of just piecing together for the people who are not really invested in the comics. Well, we are, you know, and I hope that's what they sort of elevate and bring together more. And that's why I hope they do with Flashpoint.
Hopefully it should, mate, because you've got fans, obviously, who are going to, you know, want to see it all link up maybe eventually. And there's people who can just nitpick it then and just go, I just want to see this one. And they can.
And that's the thing, I'm always a bit bored of just explaining the Multiverse to casual fans like my partner, who thinks it's completely stupid. And I do understand her point and her reason. I still have a problem, but it's not as a big problem as it used to be. But that's where I'm gonna draw my line in the sand on that. And that's all I'm gonna say on it.
So I'm just gonna play devil's advocate here, right? So your main problem with the multiverse is obviously being able, that's going to follow, this is like different to this and this is different to that and blah blah blah. And I think I personally think that the same issues you have with the multiverse I have with this 20 film storytelling that you have to watch 19 films before to be able to understand and appreciate this one better. Because personally I think that maybe us as, you know, nerds, comic book lovers, whatever you want to call us, you know, whatever you want to categorize us, I think we're getting too hung up on the idea of this word that they're using that we're accustomed to. I think it's genuinely just giving them a reason to go, let's just do a different Batman and let's do it completely different. Or, okay, let's do a Superman. We want to do this Superman that worked or whatever, right? Let's do a Robin, right? We want to do a Robin or Nightwing TV film, blah, blah, blah. But we don't want it to be in the Ben Affleck universe because, well, technically he's dead. But like, you know, do you know what I mean? It's that type of thing. And then you can then build those other characters around those, you know, multiverses if you want to. It's not saying they're gonna do it. It's just giving them an out more than anything to go, oh yeah, like let's do a big thing where, you know, we bring this villain into one of them and then everyone gets slammed together like a normal comic book multiverse would be, you know?
As long as there's no restrictions on, you know, major restrictions on what characters they can use.
Yeah, it's the flexibility. It's the flexibility for creativity, I personally think, is the reason they're doing it. I might be completely wrong. Obviously, it gives you that nitty-gritty, really chunky goodness from the DC lineage to play from. But I think it's just an excuse to go wild on, all right, we don't have to carry on this story for another 3 years because we'll give the director time off or whatever. You know, let's do something different, which I'm all down for the different stuff. Like, you know, I'm team Batfleck, but I'm all down for the Batman, which we'll get to talk about in a bit. But anyway, let's get swiftly on. Chad, you've said you want to talk about the games, so give me the goodies. Let's talk about the games.
Ooh, games. Right, okay. So with the actual games at the moment, you've got the, Batman, Gotham Knights?
Yeah, you got Gotham Knights made by WB Montreal.
Yes.
Which is kind of similar style, I'd say, to like the Arkham games.
Yeah, they're taking it off Rocksteady, haven't they?
Completely taken off Rocksteady, and I think in basically the moment they're kind of emulating what Insomniac Games is doing with the Spider-Man games, even though Spider-Man was emulating Rocksteady. It's like everybody's emulating everybody else at the moment, but so far at the moment, having your main protagonist not being Batman, because they said in the trailer they said Batman is dead, but you kind of see Batman in it as well, with like a scar and hair a bit different. It looks kind of like him. Maybe
that wasn't.
Yeah, it's Jason Todd.
That's Jason Todd.
I wasn't really sure. I was like, I was a bit confused.
It looked a bit like him in all fairness, because it was straight after
character model.
From.
Yeah,
he was basically looking at his phone from the signal that Bruce sent.
And for me at the moment, having it is not as Batman and having it as the other characters, definitely, I think it's going to be a breath of fresh air. It's taking the story away from Batman and making it about other characters and developing those characters.
Yeah.
And And I'm glad as well that they've got the mechanics right for the vehicle, because a lot of people didn't like the Batmobile in Gotham Knights. I didn't mind the Batmobile bits because I didn't mind them at all. But it looks really good. It looks very intuitive. It looks like they're elevating to a new level. Then you've got as well the Suicide Squad game.
Yep.
All we see at the moment is no in-game. All we just see is a trailer for it, and it looks like the new film that's coming out at the moment is very similar to the gun film, mixed in with a bit of what was it? Gotham? Suicide Squad? Assault on Gotham? Oh, not Gotham. So Arkham
Assault
Asylum.
on Arkham, you're on about,
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. And it's got a bit of a blend of that to it. It's got some really good comedy levels to it as well. It looks good. I want to see the game. I want to see how the mechanics are going to work going against the Justice League. So I'm really interested to see how that's going to do. And plus, seeing Brainiac in the background, I thought, well, that was quite a big thing because I've been wanting to see Brainiac for quite a while. So looking forward to that. God, that was it on the game front, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was the two main announcements. What I was going to say is that it's strange, you said it as well, Rob, that obviously WB Montreal have taken the Gotham Knights game kind of from, they've not taken it from Rocksteady. Obviously, they've been allocated it by the big bosses above. But I thought Rocksteady, obviously, you need new challenges and things like that. But I'm always in the camp of if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So,
Yeah, I mean, I got a bit tired of those games, I will say.
Yeah. They were great games.
And looking back at like the first two, when it started to go a bit more open world, I preferred it maybe a bit more restricted at times.
Yeah.
Like, with the original game where you could, that sort of thing. But no, they did one of those. The games are amazing.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. I've gone and played the first one I don't know how many times over. And it'd be interesting. I don't know, what would you rather play? Would you rather a choice, or do you reckon it'll be like a sort of story mode where it just interchanges, like it did with Catwoman?
Which are you on about now? Gotham Knights specifically, yeah?
The newest one, yeah.
Yeah.
Would you prefer them to sort of?
Well, I've watched some gameplay footage. I don't know if you've seen any, Chad, as well.
Seen all of it.
Right. So they were kind of showing that it's it's single player, but there's going to be aspects when there's going to be more than the one sort of character on screen, and I'm sure I saw you could switch between them. Like you could.
That's
switch
what it looked like to me. What it looked like to me.
I don't think you're going to be constricted. I think it's mostly developed to be played as a multiplayer by what I can see. And I definitely think the Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League is a multiplayer. It looks very similar to those, what do they call them? Arena Battle Zone.
PvP things.
Yeah, the Battle Arena,
Bit of MMO, almost like an MMO. So
like what's it called? PUBG or PUBG or something?
Oh, yeah.
It reminds me a bit of that. Fortnite and all that kind of stuff. Like I don't know, there was something about, when they went into the shooting and Harley Quinn was jumping with a grapple gun and not, like, the movements were quite reminiscent with those types of games. That's the only reason why I thought.
Yeah, I think I said to you, I mean, they've announced it as a 4-player.
There we are. Yeah. Okay. So that possibly
with either you and AI or you and other people. So yeah, it'd be good.
It'd be quite interesting as well if they incorporated. I'm gonna knock a game from the past at the moment. Is very similar to Gotham Imposters. If you had played that, it's like a 4-on-4.
Yes,
sort of,
it was like an online game kind of.
If they bring something like that,
that's what I thought it could be. Yeah.
If they do something like that, but just elevate it, I think they could be onto a real winner. And as well, going back to the Gotham games, we say now, I've been replaying the Gotham games myself, Arkham Asylum, and like I said, what you're saying, Tom, is completely right. If it's not broken, why don't fix it?
Yeah.
But to be honest, it's got to a point where they do need to mix it up. They have to mix it up. Yep. Just to keep it fresh for us gamers. We're not going to get bored. We got that levitativity where we can go back to a game. We still got the old games. We want to go back to them, but it's good to try a new engine, new team, and see what they can bring to the table. And I'm looking forward to it.
Important question, though. Important question, Chad. Are you going to buy the figures?
Oh, don't.
Because if people who don't know, then Chad's basically bought every figure from every game. So if he doesn't in this, it's going to be...
I'm missing only a couple of characters. Literally, I've
From what,
managed to
the
get
Arkham series now, is it?
all of the Arkham games. I got nearly every single one as an action figure.
Amazing.
So it's going to be frustrating, mate, especially if they do bring out some nice ones.
Yeah, I know. I just don't know I can go down that rabbit hole again. I can't. But it all depends on how they look. If they look good, I might. You had to bring that up, didn't you?
So on that note, then we'll try and prevent Chad from having a spontaneous combustion of excitement due to the Arkham game sort of figurines. Let's go on, right?
Before you do,
carry on.
If I do start buying games, I'm gonna have to be banished to the Phantom Zone for real.
Oh gosh.
But things as well, though, there was no reveals of toys in this fandom as well. I was a bit disappointed with. There's nothing at all on toys. They did have a discount code so you can get some merchandise for cheap, but that
done
was
quite
about
a bit
it.
though with the figures recently, haven't they, with the McFarlane toys. So
Yes, they have.
I think that
Did need
sort of
to
case.
mention that.
And I think as well, it could be something that comes into the second weekend when it pops back up in September. DC Fandome was meant to be originally one massive event, and then they just decided that they knew that there was going to be too much interest in the Hall of Heroes section. So they put Hall of Heroes on for the 24 hours this weekend, and they're doing the TV and comic section on the most part in September. Personally, I think that there could be some ulterior motives behind that. I'll say that much, lads. But I don't want to get into the dirty part of the internet. That's not what we're here for. Moving swiftly on, let's just do a kind of an overview of the Suicide Squad, Black Adam, Shazam, because they were kind of a little, respectfully, they were a little bit smaller in what they were showing off and things like that. Still some juicy stuff. So let's start the Suicide Squad panel with James Gunn and the just star-studded, never-ending kind of cast of characters that we have here. What do you guys think? Because this looks very, very interesting. Like,
it's for me. It's gonna be. It feels like it's gonna be my first Suicide Squad movie.
Okay.
Personally, I didn't particularly like the first one. Overcomplicated it, like a team which you could simply. Well, I'm looking at it now. It looks like a sort of A-team movie where they're doing their thing. They're going out on different missions, and they'll probably have a common threat maybe throughout. But the last one was a bit, I think up to the point where they got together was quite nice, but then it was just wasn't Suicide Squad for me.
Yeah, well,
I don't think they needed Joker either, to be honest, in the film.
It's one of those things, unfortunately, with the Suicide Squad. That's why the Ayer cut, they want it released, because there was a lot of stuff. Originally that was meant to link up with Justice League, and Steppenwolf was meant to be kind of the behind, Enchantress was kind of being possessed and all that kind of stuff. Originally, it was meant to be that Enchantress is opening up a portal boom tube so that the initial attack for Justice League could come in secret, and that's what that was all meant. And then, the exec the bed and kind of changed everything. So,
the trailer was great. It's good fun, and then the commentating over it.
Yeah,
and they had some big things to say about their own film. Let's be honest.
I thought that as well. There was some interesting stuff being said. It kind of looks a bit like Tropic Thundery. Did anyone get that kind of
No.
I was thinking Hot Shots. I was, but
yeah. That style of action
thing,
comedy style of, I'm sure it'll be more serious than that, obviously, with the types of people. But they certainly look like they're having fun blowing up all that stuff, because there's a lot of explosions.
It could easily be like you said, some sort of Rambo set or that sort of era.
Yeah, no, totally. Because what's your knowledge then, you two, on the sort of vast cast of the Suicide Squad then? Because there's a lot of unfamiliar faces in this team. I've never heard of a lot of them.
I think he's done it purposely as well, hasn't he?
Well, it's called Suicide Squad. Yeah.
Well, he has said, don't get used to him.
Don't get attached. I think he said, don't get attached.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, there was a few, and I was like, who? Even because they were showing, they had a casserole, didn't they? A little video they did.
Yeah.
Of showing each one.
Yeah.
And even when I saw a couple of the characters, I was like, yeah, I still don't know. But that's good, I think.
Oh
Why
yeah,
not?
totally. Well, like it's good. It's good in that sense because you're not gonna have every single scene where you're going, oh well, how are they gonna get out of this one? Like because I've been watching a bit of the A-Team recently, and sometimes I just go. But you're not watching that for Oscar-winning plot levels. You're watching it because you want to see how stupid it's gonna be.
And the montage as well.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, it certainly looks like a lot of fun. I've never had any problems with James Gunn as his, he's a very talented guy. I don't love Guardians of the Galaxy like everyone else in the whole wide world, and I get ostracized in shops for bringing that up. I won't bring up the story because it's too long, but I thought it was hilarious back in the day. Never tell someone that The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is a better film than Guardians of the Galaxy. That will never get you any help. That's the Suicide Squad. Looks really fun. Black Adam. So The Rock in the tightest top he could find, clearly, in his green screen room. I think him and John Cena are trying to rekindle a WWE feud for the tightest tops.
I was going to say something about with him being the Patriot as well in the...
Yeah.
As well, so
I thought it was...
thinking... It's definitely got almost like a bit of Watchmen feel to it as well, going back as well with some of the older, obscure type characters, but it still looks fun. I love The Rock, and he is a perfect choice for Black Adam.
Yeah, because you brought up an interesting point, shall we say, before we sort of started recording, Chad. You don't know whether Black Adam's going to be a good guy or a bad guy or what the hell's going on. Yeah, because the Rock is so charismatic, he can make a bad person seem like the best person in the whole wide world, I feel.
He doesn't do bad guy. He doesn't do bad guys as a rule. That's the thing. He does heel characters.
I don't know. His run in the WWE as heel Rock was pretty good. Come on now.
Yeah, no, but I mean, as a whole. But if you look at his films, he's not really done being a bad guy. Really, he's always been like.
He can be tough and not funny, I suppose.
No, I'm not saying that. That's not what I'm saying. No. But he hasn't been like a big bad. He hasn't been that, has he? And giving someone a big bad their own film, without saying without saying Suicide Squad in a way, but yeah. It is sending mixed messages. It is, and that's the thing that I said too. I do find it a bit confusing.
For what now? So just because he hasn't done the role like this.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm just a bit confused, you know.
Well, I think Black Adam's quite a complex role anyway, in that sort of thing. You know, he's if we compare him to someone like Magneto in the Marvel realm, so even if he does come across as ruthless, he's doing it for his own people. He's a ruler. So yeah, I to be honest, I think he's going to be great.
It looks I can't wait.
I think he's got it. He's the amount of different things he's done. Like we watched The Tooth Fairy, me and the kids, the other day.
God, that's a blast from the past.
And I love that film, to be honest. You know,
yeah.
Stephen Merchant's in it, and he's brilliant in it as well. Like, you know, it's just that guy, he does whatever he puts his mind to, really, doesn't he?
Well, he's franchised Viagra, isn't he? Really, like anything he puts his name on, just like straight away. It's going to be interesting, though. Obviously, he's going to be the lead character, or it's going to sort of like revolve around him. But he's going to be taking on the JSA, which current lineup, as announced via the film, is going to be Atom Smasher, Hawkman, Dr. Fate, and Cyclone. So you've got Hawkman and Dr. Fate as your two sort of seasoned heroes, and also because of the style of characters they are, I presume they have that kind of almost immortal sort of link
magic
together.
Sort of would do that sort of thing, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously the mention of JSA means that I could be one step closer to a live action Power Girl. But the less I speak about that, the better. What do you guys think about the JSA?
Sorry, I was just going to say, those sort of golden age characters, a couple of golden age characters there, and then you bring in like Power Girl next to it. But I suppose it could work.
She was in the JSA in the 70s, wasn't she? Like, she was in those type of things.
I'm trying to think, when was her first appearance? Was it the 80s? Or was it 70s?
Oh, God.
You would have to know.
I think it was the 80s.
Yeah, I would have thought so.
I'm
just thinking of the outfit design, that's all.
Yeah, but there's a whole story with that. I'll have to tell you that in another podcast. But anyway, so the JSA, what do you think of the lineup? Interesting lineup? How do you think it's going to go down?
Then they've done it. I mean, you can't really delve into the other characters too much. If you've got Green Lantern, then the Flash, certain other characters. But yeah, I think that's a really good choice. They're obscure enough. Hawkman's, will bring some fan base in. And Dr. Fate. Dr. Fate's a badass at the end of the day. Well,
because you had Dr. Fate in, what was it, in the Constantine series as well, if you remember?
Yeah.
With Matt Ryan as well.
That was a great series. I really loved that.
Yeah, and for me at the moment, is having that type of diverse characters is just going to bring something completely extra to it. But to be honest, though, because they're kind of like hinting there's going to be a Shazam 2. Maybe you might see Shazam in this film, building up, or even a cut scene or something ready for the next film, maybe, and how that's going to link. So that could be. I'm really looking forward to see if they do some sort of link with Shazam 2 and with the Black Adam film.
Have they said anything about when it's set? Because obviously, saying it's JSA, is it set?
They haven't.
No,
not yet.
They're keeping it close to their chest, aren't they?
Yeah,
because it doesn't matter when it's set. I suppose if it is set before Shazam, Black Adam can still be in the future as himself. So
yeah. I like the only things they really I say the only things. Jim Lee and Boss Logic did like a animated
digital comic thing,
which was cool. Looks cool. Obviously you can never really go off them, but if you look at old films you've seen them come out and their concept art, and then what they end up being, there's definitely some ideas there. But anything else you got to add on the Shazam stuff as we've touched about it, other than the fact they call it Fury of the Gods? I think that's what they're saying that the new title is. I heard that being rumbled.
Yeah, that's all I saw. He did a panel, didn't he? Or did he a Q&A sort of thing? Did he?
Yeah, I think he was doing...
I didn't see none of it. I didn't see none of that.
Yeah, I think he was doing a bit of, kind of a fun, not really giving much away with the, with the film's plot and things like that. More kind of having fun of the, answering questions from the fans and things like that, We got 2 sections really left.
Which one are we doing first?
We'll do it in order of how they came out through the day, right? Just to be fair. So I'm gonna have my hallelujah moment. We had the Snyder Cut panel, which for me has been 3 long years in the making. I've been a bit of a faceless kind of follower of the movement online. I never put my face to it or anything like that. One of the reasons hopefully we're going to do this is so we can actually show that there are other people out there that like other things that people like, and there's no need to be ashamed of it. But
definitely,
let's get to the nitty gritty, right? Snyder was there celebrating the fandom, celebrating the people that came together to make it work. It was absolutely great. We're going to get 4 glorious hours of Mr. Snyder's cut of this, which initially will be split into 4 parts. And then once that completes, they are going to be putting it together into a cohesive one kind of, just one whole part. And there is also talk about there being a black and white cut as well. There's a change in the aspect ratio. So before we go any further, let's just talk about that little section there. Like, how do you guys feel about everything in terms of that?
I'm personally glad that he never got to have his film in the cinema, because I don't think I'd be able to sit down for 4 hours.
Well,
it's it's epic. That is. I mean, I'm not complaining whatsoever, because obviously, with Batman Superman cut, there was an extra half an hour on top of that,
which you needed.
I still probably would have. Stayed in the cinema, but 4 hours. That's Lord of the Rings territory, isn't it? Extended version.
I've done that in the cinema. I've done the extended cut in the cinema.
But that's great. If you think, I mean, I'd like to say that could be the future.
Yeah.
For some series, you look at some of the best series we've seen. Band of Brothers, where there's 1 hour episodes, just massive budget, and they just make a phenomenal series. So yeah, it could be the future, like with DC doing that sort of stuff with HBO.
Yeah, no, definitely. Because, you've brought Chad. Like, what do you think about it all, really? Like with the 4 parts and things like that.
I'm really super excited for it because, I mean, don't get me wrong. I said this speaking to you a couple of times, and I said to you, Rob, as well. I mean, I didn't mind the car wreck of Justice League. I didn't mind.
Right, where's the mute button? I'm just going to mute him now because he's talking.
But I'm really looking forward to comparing it. Watching
for me
that
as well.
Oh, Jesus.
I don't get me wrong. I did enjoy it because when I went to cinema, I did have a massive smile on my face because I was enjoying it. Yes, it wasn't great. It wasn't great by any means, but it had some good moments into it. As a whole, it was okay. But I am more excited because when it came out, I was thinking, I always want to see what did Snyder do. What did he bring to it all? And because of that, I've been really excited to see what he's going to do. Now we're going to see it. I can't wait. And 4 hours, have as a big release. I will buy it. I will get it. I'll watch it. And I know I'll enjoy myself. So everybody's a winner.
So, like, as you said, Rob, right, you're saying that, you're glad in some ways that you didn't get to make it. Obviously, I mean, you say that in a joke, right? Obviously.
Yes.
Like, the thing is, if this came out in cinema, it wouldn't be this. This isn't the film.
Unfortunately, no.
Like, unfortunately, well, I personally...
Do you think even if he didn't step off, they'd still cut it down, wouldn't they?
No, so basically, like, he's been speaking a lot. He spoke a little bit on this, but because it's so associated with Warner Brothers, he didn't want to go trash talking them. So between Justice Con and, he did an interview with Grace Randolph, which was really, really good with Beyond the Trailer. And also, he's just been popping up on different people's podcasts that I follow. So last night after the he popped up, or just after the panel, sorry, I forget what day we're recording this on. On Sunday, early hours of Sunday for me, he ended up popping on the Real Emotion podcast. And there was a load of different guys on there that were quite responsible for spreading the word. They put their face to the movement. They are a part of it. There's lots of different people because the actual panel itself at DC Fandome had Fiona and Dexter, who were incredible, integral parts within kickstarting the movement and continuing it going. They said about Fiona spoke really, really well. I know she has been here from the start and things like that. So that was lush to see. It was absolutely nice. And, Snyder's been going on the podcast and stuff like that. So he's been just saying a lot of different stuff about what, little things here and there. But fundamentally, if he'd stayed on, that film was always going to beat 2 hours. That's what they kept on telling him. Now, he had a cut, which he was like, I ain't stepping, reading around and reading between the lines. Obviously he had a cut of 214 minutes, which he has always said is the Snyder cut prior to this. Now, I mean, this is a completely different beast again. He's going back and putting back in the stuff that he was told 2 months before shooting. You can't do this. And then there's lots of different stuff. I'm not going to go into all of it because we could make a whole 3-hour podcast just on the behind the scenes.
Not a 4-hour podcast? Not a 4-hour podcast?
Well, this is it. Like, what do we choose? Are we going with a 2:14? Are we going with a 4-hour? Are we going with 2-hour?
It's just great today. I mean, he's got to consider himself very, very lucky to be able to do it, because there's a lot of people out there which probably have a lot of things done to them when they're making films. But it's been a great thing to watch. I know you've been very passionate about it, but it's a great thing, isn't it, really? Like, we're so lucky.
The thing is as well, we've had that with Richard Donner in Superman 2, didn't we? If you think about it. Because he had to go, but he did the Donner cut, and that Donner cut is sublime. And I love both cuts, don't get me wrong, but the Donner cut, even though it's got test footage and they put that all in, You know, so saying that, and that's one of the reasons why I'm like so looking forward to the Snyder Cut. I mean, not because it's 4 hours. It's just we're just going to get a true vision of the film, and the trailer, completely different tone, and the music. Very much like what he did with Watchmen type as well.
Yeah, well, yeah, he used that song in Watchmen. One thing I was going to say, just before we start talking about the trailer, is the Snyder Cut situation, the Justice League situation, is like, unfortunately, so tragically unique, right? The behind-the-scenes aspects, both in his personal life and professionally with what the execs were doing, allegedly, I got to say that. But... you know, there's enough evidence to show that this guy was absolutely wrong done, you know, big style. And it's not just, we don't like your version. Like, there's a lot of different stuff that gone on. So, you know, when you're comparing it to, well, he's lucky that he's in this opportunity. Like, basically, we're lucky that someone has been able to step in and go, this previous regime, what were they doing? Like, what were they thinking? Like, where's all the protocol? And like, you know, it's a completely different situation. I'm not saying it like go against you, Rob. I'm just trying to educate so we know that we feel that way about it. Like, do you know what I mean?
100% to do. I'm just saying we're in a very lucky position, and to be able to have these, the you know, stuff is going on, and his fans. It's just like, it's just a weird situation where I'm just like, like I said, I couldn't sleep.
Yeah,
and I know we're going to go into the trailer now.
Yeah.
I feel like I've watched the film now. I'm happy with. I'm real happy with just that trailer.
Totally. So I have watched it like so many times at this point. Like, I sent you through those screen gifs that I'd made, obviously, of like certain big, just holy moments throughout it. So let's talk about it. The trailer opens. Obviously, we've got Leonard Cohen. Hallelujah. We open with Darkseid, and I was like, oh, we're going there. Oh, okay.
Finally in there. Not like a shot in the distance.
Yeah.
Tease.
And I really like the design. The thing is with that type of design, right? Darkseid is a character. It's going to look like a CGI character. Like, there's no way that you can do that any other way, I don't think, right? So, and also at the same time, it's still not technically finished. So I've seen a lot of people... you know, giving it the big one online still. Oh, it looks like PS2 graphics, blah, blah, blah. It does not look like PS2 graphics. It looks, to me, still absolutely great, but it's still, I don't think, 100% finished. But, you know, what do you think of the design? How do you feel about it and things like that? You carry on.
I actually like the design. I mean, the only thing for me at the moment was his eyes just looked like, oh my God, they're definitely gone down this route. Don't mind the actual suit and so on. I just think it's, like I said, I really do think you touched it right on the head. I don't think it's a full finished article, but I can't wait to see a bit more. And to be honest, though, do we know who's voicing Darkseid now?
Yes. So it's Ray Porter, a very, very, very esteemed and talented actor, mostly known for voice acting, but has done, you know, a whole career's worth of work in Shakespeare stage, you know, and TV as well.
That will fit because every time I hear Darkseid in some of the cartoons, he's almost he's way well spoken.
Oh yeah, this guy's got a voice
very methodical. So I'm sold on that.
Nah, Ray Porter's got a real good voice for it. You know, he did the motion capture for it as well, by all accounts. Him and Kieran Hines. And obviously, I don't know who they got playing Desaad, spoiler, but obviously we see Desaad in the trailer, which I was like, could not believe it. But yeah, like, you guys riff, man. Just go for it. Tell me what you liked. Let's go for it. Come on.
I'll say my 2 bit on Darkseid. Like, you're never gonna, you say about, you know, you could have someone in makeup or whatever, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And the way, if you look at the old school Kirby character, you just couldn't have it. But it looked good, man. I mean, I don't know what else you could want from it. Like, as a fan, really. I know, like, people complain about graphics, you know, and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
but exactly. Wait for the finished product.
Yeah, totally.
You know,
No.
and then if it's glitching or doing something wrong, then you can have something to say about it.
Well, it's
But he
interesting.
looked alright, man. He looked quite cheeky,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Yeah,
Like,
well,
you know, he's like sexy. He did, you know. He looked like a.
Well, his eyes were very like Frank Miller, like, you know, Darkseid in the style of Frank Miller. Obviously, you know, like, I'm not saying that there's Darkseid in a Frank Miller comic book, but, you know, I'm just saying with the way that he sculpts his eyes, you know, with his characters, a lot of people online have been saying, oh my God, it looks like Frank Miller designed this, like that type of thing. Obviously he didn't. It was, you know, the team behind it all. But yeah, obviously that's baby Darkseid as well, technically. That's one thing to say. I forgot to say. There's Darkseid's going to change a bit more as well, I think, as we saw with Steppenwolf, because Steppenwolf looks completely different.
Different,
Like he's got spikes
so much better.
to change.
Yeah,
And, I need a minute.
He looks completely different, and I was thinking straight away, it just looks more because last film it was just so rushed and so unfinished, and they went, yeah, okay. It's like they just did a quick sketch and went, bang on the screen.
Didn't feel like a proper villain either, did he? You know?
No, he didn't. He didn't at all. And then you see a bit more. They used some of the footage from, brought back some of the footage with regards to not Iron Man. Sorry, I don't want to say that. Aquaman, as well. So going across the bridge with this bottle of tequila or vodka and all that. I thought, where was that in the actual film? And I was really looking forward to seeing something like that. And then you see Amber Heard, and I mean, to be honest as well, though, I haven't seen any fallout from that at all with the what's happening with Johnny Depp and
I think they're both as eccentric as each other is the conclusion, and we're just gonna go,
and move on. But to be honest,
you know the Aquaman. Sorry, mate. You were saying,
Jim Morrison Aquaman as he leaves the water pod.
Have we not seen that before? Did we not see that as a teaser leading up to the original movie?
Yeah,
we
we saw it in the movie.
That's fine.
Yeah,
and then we see him throw something down, and like the waves go like that.
Yeah, it was in.
That's fine. I'm just trying to think over what I saw last night. I mean, the biggest like difference is just the way it feels, more than anything. Looking at it,
heavy.
I know we keep on saying as well with his films. I hate to say it, but they're just so beautiful. Like I've recently watched Man of Steel. I've said to you last time, and then the other day, Batman, Superman, and it's just, that's another thing with this film. Those two need this film as like to have a full trilogy. It's just, you know, it needs it.
Well, we're getting more Nightmare. I don't know if you noticed.
Yeah,
I cannot wait, and you know, which I think could be two things. Could be as a result of obviously the Flash presumably running through the Speed Force, which certainly looks like it.
yeah, and just giving off something for him to,
or accidentally running into that timeline for a 3-minute period, or
and we're seeing his thing, is it? Yeah,
it could be. I'm just spitballing, you know. But there's a lot of stuff. Obviously, the Hall of Justice was in ruin in that shot in the first couple of seconds, and all that kind of stuff. But you know, just. It's nice.
And obviously the way Superman has come back to life.
Black suit, baby. You know.
And it's a bit different, isn't it? Because I'm just trying to think, because you see Lois seeing him in the air.
Yeah.
You don't see that, do you, originally?
No. Hovering.
When he arrives back. And you wonder if Batman gets, I'm just trying to remember that film now.
The big gun line.
He gets the big gun, doesn't he? Just in case he's like, but I don't think that's going to happen in this one. Then
it's not his line. It's not a Snyder scene.
Well, talking about the Flash as well, you're saying about that.
What you're saying?
Yeah. Did we see Iris?
Yeah, that's Iris West. Kelsey Clements, I believe, is the actor's name. So yeah, that looks really cool. What I thought was interesting, what you said earlier on, Rob, is. If you follow Snyder on Vero, which is, you know, his kind of social media platform that, you know, everyone loves following him on, there's a lot of this stuff that we've seen in black and white still photos. So, you know, for the general audience, they're like, oh, this is like super cool. But like for people like me, I see it as like even more super cool because there's like, you know, like you say, there's the cyborg scenes that we didn't see hardly any of in theatrical, which I was gutted for. Like, you're talking about the way that his films look. That football scene looks absolutely glorious, and we didn't get to see it.
No.
And, you know, the shot from the side where he's hurdling one of the incoming tacklers, like, that looks, like, just so fabulous. Like, you know, just so good. And it just makes you mad that someone would just leave all this on the cutting room floor, you know? I
suppose, do you do that, or do you take someone else's work and put it off as your own?
Well, yeah, but that's ultimately what they ended up doing with the theatrical, because they still put Snyder's name on it.
Yeah, they did, yeah.
Like, and I know it's legal stuff and things like that. I totally get it. But, like, someone's got to have the sense here and go, people are going to go mental if we put his name on here. Because, like, you know, it doesn't take a genius to watch Justice League and go, oh, there's elements of him in there, but, like, there's something not right here. What's going on? Like, so I'm just super happy that we're getting this. You know, it's cathartic for him, obviously, with everything that he's gone through. And, you know, my heart goes out to him with everything that he's gone through. But, like, it's cathartic for us as fans that have, like, followed this and went in and came out of the cinema with that weird-ass feeling of, what have I just watched? Why does Superman look that way? Why does Henry Cavill not look as gloriously handsome as he usually does? Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm just glad it's come in, and I can't wait. Like, and the good thing for us is, as well, obviously, being in the UK, this is something I want to say earlier. They did mention, Snyder did, about obviously it's HBO Max exclusive, but they're working on distribution platforms, you know, across the different territories. Right, now, okay. I'm just hypothesizing here. Obviously, us being Brits, Sky is the big kind of HBO provider over here. So I think that the Snyder Cut is going to be somehow distributed through Sky, whether it be Now TV, on demand, or something like that. But that's what I think personally is how it's going to go down over here. Like, because he said that
they could do it on a lot of things, couldn't they, as well? I mean, you know, they could potentially put it. If you think, I mean, I buy a lot of stuff still on Google Play, you know, digitally like that sort of thing.
Yeah,
I'm sure people are happy on like cross-platforms to.
I think it's more the strength of that Sky and HBO Max exclusive deal. You know, Sky really, 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 you know, hold their heads high with that HBO sort of properties. You know, you've got your Game of Thrones, your Watchmen, your Boardwalk Empire, you know, all those types of stuff. They're all HBO programming. So because the Snyder Cut, even though for some of us we see it as a film, it's still, I think, being treated as like a streaming type of thing. So obviously I feel it's going to have a run in the UK on Sky somehow.
I think was it Sky Atlantic, maybe something like that?
Possibly, you know, because like people are used to the cinematic approach to the sort of so-called TV storytelling now with, you know, Westworld and stuff like that's another HBO as well, isn't it? So yeah, it's going to be interesting. Very, very interesting, but very, very exciting. So if we haven't got anything left to say there, we're going to go on to our final section of The Batman. Robert Pattinson. I'll be honest with you. I was in the camp that was a little bit anxious about him playing it. Now, I know he's a terrific actor, but I am a little bit of a size queen when it comes to my Batman. So I'm always used to having you know, I like my Batman to be big and bulky and like, you know, sort of just a mean looking UFC mixed martial arts style fighter, which I think Batfleck in his portrayal does type of show. So let's just talk about the trailer, because obviously we had the panel. I'll be honest with you, I didn't see the panel, so I don't know what was fully said. Now, we know that it was only 25% of the movie filmed so far because it's been disrupted due to the social situation we have at the moment. So let's just talk about the trailer. You guys, your thoughts. Let's go for it.
Good fun. This is probably my best thing I've seen for a long time. It was just like the fact that we said it's 25 to 30%, and what we got from it was just immense. Like, it was a bit jarring, I would say, but I think that was the effect.
Yeah.
And quickly going back to the panel, like anyone who takes like Darwin Cook's Batman Ego as his theme for the film, then I'm gonna pour all my money into this thing. But it's just, yeah. I mean, there's one question I wanted to ask you guys before we discuss the trailer. How do we know he's Bruce Wayne?
Didn't you say Mr. Wayne?
I don't. I listened to
Alfred
it a couple of times.
Then Alfred tell him.
I don't know. I couldn't hear it because he's like in the panel. They don't call him Bruce Wayne at all. And then on IMDb, he's just down as Batman. This is only my multiverse thing going on.
That's do you know that I've not even thought about that.
It doesn't say anything at all because I watched the trailer before we did before we started recording. So
I may have missed it. So
you're gonna make me watch that like another 50 times now.
It's worth looking at. I just thought it just something. I was with the kids today, and I just thought what if because it is it is not the Batman or the Batfleck, is it?
No,
so
no, exactly.
It could be one of his protégés, isn't it? A different universe, but
yeah, that's different. I'll have to have a look at that actually afterwards. I mean, I'm sure it's just them not. Oh, that would be a bit of a swing, mine, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I suppose
like
people going to see the film and going, "Who's that?"
Yeah, who's that?
But,
who's Damien? Why is he named after the devil?
And obviously, this is going to be. Is this? Yeah, it's potentially this is released before Flashpoint.
Yeah, but they've already said it's in its own contained universe anyway. Because Matt Reeves, I did hear that he said that in the panel.
Yeah. He said completely. He's been able to do his own thing. Obviously, they explain about the Gotham, the
Gotham PD show. Yeah. Is
it going to be based in the Joker universe?
No.
You think it's
separate?
Joker's obviously there. We'd like to say because it was Joker Thuds there, wasn't there?
Well, I thought that as well. Let's talk about that scene because I'll be honest with you, I loved the tone of the film of the trailer up until that point, but I was still a bit like, okay, and then as soon as that part hit, and he just slams 10 bells out of him.
Such a beatdown.
And then just continues to hit him after he's down. I was like, right.
And he just looks up, doesn't he?
Yeah. But seriously, all I could think of after that was, and I don't like comparing, was if anyone gives me any crap for liking Ben Affleck and call him Stabby Batman after you've got him showing as if he's giving out GBH for fun, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I thought he was great, but I tell you what was really interesting about that as well was the use of the sound effects. Now, if you watch it without the sound on, it still looks, really impressive, but it's the sound effects that give that aggressive input because they are thick, and I mean chunky hits that they've put on there. Because I was listening on my system, and I was like, "Yeah, okay, I'm game." I was a bit unsure, especially even when he's a bit smaller, isn't he? With all due respect, but that aggression, your Conor McGregor little bugger, I'm gonna delete that part calling him a little bugger, otherwise he finds me down and
They did say that was their main thing with designing the suit.
Yeah.
And obviously the other one was, I think they asked Nolan's team, Christian Bale, what's the one thing he said? Just make sure you can pee in it.
Yeah, that was the main thing. Everyone,
didn't he? So yeah, they did that. But yeah, I like it. The suit looks really nice, to be honest.
Yeah, it's different.
I like the overall the suit. I don't like the collar too much, but I don't mind the cowl. I thought the cowl was really quite nice. I love the chest plate, which is very similar to Gotham Arkham Knights games. It's got that vague thing to it, but it's almost got that year 1, year 2 type of feel with a bit of armor to it.
Spot on there, mate. Because going back to
long
the panel,
Halloween stuff in it.
He's basically said that this is him in his infancy, and it wants to look basically like he's making his own suit.
Yeah.
So those flaws that you see, I hope that is, that sort of thing in it.
Yeah.
But the Batmobile, though, oh my god.
I was unconvinced when I saw a still of it.
No, I was sold on the still. Sold.
It looks
Just
good.
what is it? You know what I mean?
Well, it looks like a sort of 70s kind of muscle car type of thing that he's.
Do you know what it reminds
sort
me
of
of?
converted.
Do you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of something like Mad Max. On,
Yeah.
You know, the police interceptor car. Like, you know, it was just reminds me so much of that. But. Ooh.
So, how do you feel about all the different villains then? Like, because it's a bit mad. I like the idea of not having, you know, I like the idea of having all these different villains existing and like showing up. They don't have to all play a part in the whole story. They can just be there as side characters. Obviously, it's us as comic book geeks that always went, oh, they didn't give that one enough. Like, you watch EastEnders with bloody like side characters and you don't bitch and whinge about that. Like, why can't we have the same, but just, you know, a nod and a wink to all these different characters?
Yeah, I hope they don't do what they did with Sam Raimi's third Spider-Man film.
Yeah,
like, you know, just ramming in something just for the sake of it and just being a bit of a cluster. And I hope they just don't do it for the sake of it. I hope they just don't have to give them too much screen time. Just have little bits here and there, and then just focus on maybe one at a time.
I think it'd be that, mate. I think it'd be a typical comic book read where you have the start. Especially if it's Penguin, you know, because it looks like it's Riddler's going to be the main
though,
thing.
isn't it? Yeah.
So you have Penguin at the start. He ends up chucking him in to prison or something like that, and then you move on from there. That's what I think.
Well, Colin Farrell's unrecognizable as the Penguin, isn't he? Like, wow, I don't even know how they've done that. Like, it's only through that one line that he says that everyone goes, "Is that Colin Farrell?" Like, it was mad, absolutely mad. And, you know, obviously Catwoman is in there, Selena Kyle. The Riddler looks
She's not Catwoman yet, supposedly.
Yeah, Selena Kyle. So it's same as the Dark Knight Rises then, technically.
Yeah, so she's,
I like the cowl type thing as well. It was a bit like just fashioned together, like, you know, just as a mask, and that's it. So I like that a lot. I like that a hell of a lot. So I can't wait to see what more is going to happen with that character. More than anything else, I'm more intrigued.
No, the villains look really interesting. Sorry, Rob.
No, I was just going to literally what you were saying. I can't wait for it, to be honest. I've been kind of behind him when he got chosen anyway, because whatever, isn't it? I will see a Batman film. It doesn't matter, does it?
Exactly.
But you look at that now, I'm so excited for it.
I was very skeptic. I was very skeptic, very on the fence. And then there's a lot of things were coming out. I was like, oh, I'm not sure. And then I seen this trailer. I went, you know what? You got me now. I really am intrigued, and I can't wait to see it.
There's more fight scenes like that. And they were quite clear and crisp as well. Nothing against Snyder stuff. Some of it can be a bit dark, can it? With the Batman.
Was because it was one shot as well. It wasn't like cuts here and there. It's just you got it all in one.
That's particularly what like a martial arts sort of scene is anyway. They don't tend to switch the cameras too much unless they move. So, you know.
And there was little things of where the camera would like move with the impact ever so slightly. So when he breaks the guy's arm, like when you see the bone come out, the camera just slightly kind of goes with it. Again, really, really cool kind of techniques, you know. No, I'm all for it. You know, I think what I think is great, and I think this sort of like leads us on to our sort of summary of everything, is that I'm excited for all of these. I don't have to pick, I want that one more than that one, and that I want that one to be successful and that one not to be. Like, I want all these films to be successful. You know, there's a demographic for everyone, and everyone's going to have their favorite one. So, you know, and each one has a very distinctive lens. And it seems as if they're going back to basics and kind of going, right, we're going to choose directors that have got their style, and we're going to, you know, decide together on what they're doing, and we're going to let them go and do it. Not decide together, you know, hopefully that's the case, because I think we're being spoilt a little bit here if they stay true
100%.
to their word. If they stay true to their word, you know.
The Justice League trailer was a spoiler enough.
No.
Yeah, and like this is the thing, we haven't even spoken about the Flash panel, which I'm sorry, Rob, being a massive Flash fan, you know, like, because there's interesting stuff coming up there as well. How would you feel about that with the sort of Keaton multiverse coming into the Flash? And
mate, I'm like, I know we're going back to the original, you know, the Justice League.
Yeah.
Obviously, for me, it was the first, you know, proper thing of the Flash, and I was disappointed because there could have been so much more to that character. There were, don't get me wrong, there were some nice moments in that film. But with the film, was it 2022, isn't it? I think there's slated.
I think
for
so.
release.
Yeah, possibly.
So yeah, I mean, I know there's rumors of all sorts of different Batmans in there at the moment.
Well, Affleck's back.
Yeah, Affleck's back. Do you think, you know, going back now, do you think that might be a dream scene then?
What?
Or could go into that reality? You know what you said before about him going in and out of the timelines?
Yeah.
Do you think that he could go into that one where
well,
it could be
I don't know. Like, to be honest with you, like, I think what's ending up happening in terms of the Flash movie, at least, is think Back to the Future, obviously, but instead of Flash traveling back in time, he's obviously, you know, going through it, and they're gonna have the timeline or the universe of Batman 89, but it's not obviously Batman 89 now, it's Batman 2022, but of that 89 universe. So the idea is I think they've hinted towards it being potentially Ben Affleck's swan song type of thing,
right?
Which I don't know how much truth is in. You know, it's going to be interesting to see. But basically, Affleck is going to be his Batman that he starts with, and the rumors are is obviously he's going to go as like in the Flashpoint to a different reality where the Batman isn't going to be a Thomas Wayne stabby Batman. It's going to be the Michael Keaton. Batman. So, and then Keaton and him, you know, do stuff, whatever, and he gets sent back. And the rumor that a lot of the trades are running with is that when he gets back, it ain't going to be Affleck. But I don't know about that much. I feel that there's too much momentum and he's in a happier place at the moment, that whilst it might be the end for Batfleck within that strip of timeline,
he could still do something.
He's going to continue the Snyder stuff, and if you believe everything that's on the internet, there's a Batman show coming to HBO or some form of 3-parter or something. So yeah, it's mad, man. There's so much stuff out there coming out, and yeah, the Flash movie will be interesting. I'm going to be very, very intrigued to see how they do it, especially aesthetically in that 89 Batman. If they're going literally picking it out of the 89 VHS and just modernizing it up a little bit to 2020. Or
can you imagine the layover on like going like a Tim Burton layover on a Tim Burton film, that sort of style?
Well, that's what I mean.
Just that.
I like the sound of that. I really do.
Just the lightning. Yeah. We can talk on. Let's just leave it because we're off onto another universe now. But yeah, the Flash film for me, I cannot wait. Finally, because it's been a while.
Yeah. Oh, well, how many different directors they had? Are they on their 4th?
Yeah, at least. I was going to say at least 3. So yeah,
because they've had a shed load of different people working on it, haven't they?
And there was one first slated about 10 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
So yes, finally. Not that I've got anything wrong with the TV series, but yeah, I need to see it.
Totally. So that's we may as well end it there, lads. That you know, I think we've tried to not go overboard with everything, and you know, I'm excited being a DC fan. You know, 3 long years have. Well, it's going to be 4 now, isn't it? Really, come to think of it. But no, for me, I was wholeheartedly kind of just complete after the weekend, and I don't think it's going to stop. I think there's going to be still some little snippets of bits coming out as we go along in the week now, especially if, you know, certain directors and stuff are going to be jumping on podcasts here, there, and everywhere. So yeah, have you got any closing comments, lads? Do you want to see it come back? Would you like to see it done with a little bit more flexibility with the times for us UK folk, etc.? What
Oh,
are you thinking?
100%, definitely, because I want to be able to watch it live if I can, if possible. But yeah, I mean, what I've seen so far and what I've watched, I did enjoy, and I just can't wait now to see some more comic book stuff, more TV stuff, because that's what I'm more gravitating towards about. I mean, for a while, I thought I was suffering from superhero fatigue. After this weekend, I don't feel that now.
Right.
I feel energized to see more.
Which is nice, isn't it? I think that's what, like I said, it's been a long time. I still read comics and stuff, but it's been a long time since I feel a bit buzzed about something like this. So yeah, bring it on, innit?
Well, no, it's going to be interesting. And like, I'm going to ask a couple of short questions here, right? Just to finish us off, because these are interesting. So with what seems to be the success of this weekend, with DC doing their own thing and, arguably getting a lot more traction towards their properties than they would if they were in a physical con, because it's exclusive to just those people there, etc., etc. Do you see that, some of these companies might be thinking, oh, we might do this now instead of doing the sort of physical cons, especially with the the unforeseen circumstances happening at the moment?
I can see it happening in big conventions where they can do the virtual thing online and people can be in a hall still where people can't come to the UK. I mean, people don't have to come to the UK to do a panel. They can do it all online and broadcast it at a show or pre-record it and then just broadcast it, whatever, They can easily do stuff like that because there's so much more flexibility. We got the technology, we got the power, we can rebuild cons to be better. But yeah, I can't see why not.
Rob?
No, I agree. I think we touched on other podcasts. We've said about that. It'd be nice to be able to, sit on a virtually on a panel, and do that sort of thing. I think there'll always be, the Comic-Con for merch and all those sort of things. But yeah, they could easily do this, 100%. And it's proven a hit, isn't it? It's a success. So it is interesting because I suppose there's not the face-to-face and not being social and all that sort of thing. So, and people need to get out there. We need to talk.
Yeah.
But yeah, they hit on a mark, to be honest. Short and sweet as well.
Yeah.
Not 3-4 days of just, slow releases and little this and then wait for Sunday, wait for this. It's just there, have it. So yeah, really good.
Definite. Well, one thing you brought up there, merch. There was one piece of merch that I would definitely like to get once my pay comes in, which is the Zack Snyder Associate Producer shirt that he's now got on Ink to the People. New design, and it's kind of a celebration of the release that it's finally come and stuff. Or, all the proceeds going to charity. So, yeah, can't wait for that. Gonna pick that up. And I am going to just enjoy myself now. Hallelujah.